Hello, thank you for joining me again. As I always say, it means a lot to me. And I appreciate the support. If you haven't subscribed, do, and tick the little like to help with the good old YouTube algorithm. Thank you. I think it's going to be a morning of traffic passing, so I'll apologise ahead. What do you see when you look in the mirror? And I'm not talking about looking and seeing, for me, the wrinkles, the bags under the eyes. Somebody pointed out my dimples the other day, so I make myself now look at those and not just think it's another wrinkle. A bit of positivity. But I'm not talking about that. Just what are you inside? The authentic you, the real you, the true you. And I was right about the vehicles going past, sorry. This was something that I used to do with clients. Tell me about yourself. Well, what? Absolutely anything. What's important to you? Very often the first thing out was their job, their career, because obviously that takes up a lot of our time. Then often whether they were in a relationship and whether they had any family, whether they have any sons or daughters, whether they have contact with their parents and help them out. And then that was it. So those were all things that they do, that they are involved in, but not actually what they are. Okay, it might reflect what they are. If they said that they were a nurse, then you would assume, hopefully correctly, that they were basically a caring person. If they did a very heavy manual job, then you would imagine that that showed strength of body, but also if they were doing it maybe out on an oil rig or something, strength to cope with doing something like that out in the sea. That would be something that I would hate on all levels. The thought of a desert island, yes, but an oil rig, no. So, what is the authentic you? Who is the authentic you? What makes you tick? Have you lost sight of that? Very often we do in this busy life of ours. We become that job. We become that parent. We become that son, daughter, and us isn't in there. So have a think about you, yourself. What makes up the self bit of you? And make a list. Make 2 lists, a positive and a negative. Do it over a couple of days and see if one weighs heavier than the other. Because some people are so good at recognizing, oh, I'm rubbish at doing practical things. I'm very, as we used to say, cack-handed. I'm rubbish at. Coming to the positive stuff, they're struck dumb. But have a think. What would other people say about you? Maybe they would say that, like the nurse, that you are caring, that you are a good friend, that you have patience, that you are very tolerant. Have a think, write these down, and then look at both sides and think, am I actually being authentic by putting so much negativity down? If I am, is there anything I can do about that? And maybe, you know, if you say you're rubbish at something, you could do something to solve that. But if it's not important, then it doesn't matter. But don't lose out on that positive list. Have a look after a couple of days and add some more, because they're there. You just won't accept them. When you look in that mirror, you just see the professional hat, the parenting hat, whatever. And we used to work many years ago, I think it was called the Bono or something like that, with hats for children. And you'd go into classrooms and there'd be different coloured hats. And they had to, in their imagination, wear a different coloured hat when they were doing expressive writing, and then different one when they were doing explanatory writing. I never did quite see the point of it. Yes, to emphasize all the different types of language and words that we can use, but I don't like over separating things. So if you say you're kind and caring, yeah, they fade into one another, but get both of them down and then think, what do I mean by caring? What do I mean by kind? Think about what is in here. Acknowledge the good stuff that's in there and don't let it disappear, because if we lose track of who our authentic self is, we're losing ourselves. And we don't want to do that. Don't become this quiet little wallflower. Let those positivities shine. Let them be your little light that you hold up in the world. But that is you. That is part of you. So put your shoulders back, hold your head high, and don't let anybody grind you down. You're worth more than that. And you can prove that by being honest with yourself and putting those things down. It's not being boastful. It's being honest about yourself. On that note, I am going to say thank you for joining me, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye for now. Bye.